What's happening? This is Ryan Dawkins, and you're tuning in to The Loft.
Has brought out the best of me.
Yeah, so you're staying active now, huh?
Yeah.
You're right back into it, man.
Yeah.
When was the last fight, the Alvarez card? When was that?
What was the date? January 25th, I think.
Yeah, January 25th. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the Philly card, being in like the Wells Fargo, and I mean selling it out. I was fortunate enough to have like seats next to the walkout aisle. And I took a look up, and I'm like, this is sick, dude. The production was great. Everything was great. And yeah, you had your fight, and like, curious as to, this was your first bare knuckle fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a ref.
Yeah,
You know?
with the ref. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and so you went into it. So what was your, obviously South Philly guy, went to the press conference, saw that the Cannoli stuff was fun. That was a power move. Was that like a plan? You had that planned out? Like, I'm like,
I kind of like semi-planned something with a cannoli. Nothing, nothing that came close to that. I'll be honest with you. That was all organic. So I actually called my buddy up like prior to getting on the stage, and I said, "Yo, run the terminis real fast and grab me a couple cannolis. I'm gonna hand them out to the people, and just involve people with the weigh-in. Like makes it more fun, you know."
yeah.
And I wound up handing one to McGregor, Dave Feldman, my opponent. And when I handed it to him, I remember correctly, he was holding it like wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an idiot, you know? And so when he grabbed him, then he looked at me like weird. Something snapped in my head, you know? And I felt like he was looking at me weird. So something made me just slap it out of his hand, and then he got mad. You know, I didn't even know I was going to do that.
That wasn't even planned.
No,
you just
and I asked myself too. I said, why am I giving this guy a cannoli when I'm going to fight him tomorrow?
about to fight him, yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense. So like, I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah.
I handed it to him, and I was like, fuck this guy. Boom.
That made
And then he charged at me, tried to kill me.
I made the moment, dude. That when I saw that, I blasted everywhere. I was a huge moment, and I was saying to I was talking to Eddie a little bit about it, and I was like, dude, shit like that is what made the card so special, like the Philly card, you know, like people putting in their own, you know, their own versions of it, and like obviously even at the press conferences too, like I asked Jeremy Stevens like 2 questions, and he was just like completely blank faced, and I'm like, and I was like, God, is
Too
he
serious?
Yeah, I'm like, just like lean into it a bit. You know what I mean? Philly's a different, different vibe. So it's like,
you're not going to change the result of what happens the day after. You might as well just like
just embrace
just ride
it.
the wave.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think I asked him. I was like, "Yeah, when Eddie knocks you out, you want to come to cheerleaders or something like that?" And he like didn't answer. That was the first
That's
one
funny.
at 2300. That was the first one I said. I said, when Eddie knocks you the fuck out, you're gonna come to cheerleaders with us? And he didn't even answer it. And then the next one,
I wouldn't even know what to say if a guy asked me that.
I know it's funny.
I might slap him.
Yeah, lucky. Well, I was lucky he was far away from me, so and there was security.
Just want to kill you.
Yeah, no. So I didn't. I had to. And then when the next one was at Parks, I asked him. I was like, listen, I've been getting a lot of. I was like, Philly's a bunch of nice blue collar, classy people, and I was like, listen, if you want to get on their good side right now, all you gotta say is the letter E. And then I wanted him to start an Eagles chant, and he didn't do it. And I'm like, bro, you had it right there, like you had it. But nah, it was awesome. It was so like, we'll get into your fight and obviously just like the proposal and everything like that. I thought it was such a cool moment. But yeah, the card was great. And like now you're really setting into the bare knuckle vibe, right? Is that like a real lane you want to take?
Yeah, for sure. MMA was great when I did it, and I love boxing. I just like combat in general.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like there's like a lane opening up for me. It's like a parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah.
I feel like it's my path, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, the fans love me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I have a great skill set for it, great style.
Yeah.
The cardio aspect for me, I've always been like a sprinter in fights. I like to have a high pace, and I feel like it's meant for me. It's shaped for me.
Yeah, and so your style going into the fight, did it change from when you go into boxing? Like, is that a different styles? Like, are you, since it's obviously bare knuckle, do you go into it differently than you would a boxing match?
For sure.
Yeah.
So boxing, listen, guys say all the time, they brag about how hard their hands are, and I can hit anything. I can hit a brick wall. I can hit their head. Blah 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 blah. Listen, take it from me. I don't care what these guys say. They're all bullshitters. You have to be very precise when you hit. If you've seen the card in Philly at Wells Fargo in January, right? Everybody broke their hand. Like just about, like a lot of people. And if anything, they broke both hands. Pat Brady broke both hands.
Did he?
Joey DeWaco broke both hands. Cody Russell broke his hand. Other people broke their hands. And the other people that didn't break their hands, they either got their face broke or anything else, right? Or their ribs. It's a lot different without tape, gauze, over your knuckles, and then a glove. Because like hitting with a boxing glove, 8 or 10 ounces, 12 ounces, it's like getting hit with a pillow.
Right. Yeah.
It's still hard, but it's not a bare fist.
Yeah.
You know, so you do got to change the way you train. You do have to change the way you approach a bare knuckle fight. You got to be precise. You got to block differently.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna block a punch like this, right, more or less, than doing this, there's a bigger chance of a punch getting through.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't close this little gap right here, right?
You're gonna get hit in the neck, or
you're gonna get hit either in the neck, in your equilibrium, right behind your ear. So the blocking's different. You got to watch when other people throw their blocks or do that shell, that they don't punch your elbow. If you punch their elbow,
yeah,
you break your hand.
Break your hand, yeah.
You know, same thing with an uppercut. You break it on their chin. You got to watch.
And that's just the nature of the sport, right? People are breaking their hands just by nature of the sport. Maybe not lack of technique, right?
Lack of not punching correctly, correct. But I think it's precision too.
Yeah.
So both, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I just remember sitting there watching the event, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like, this is like just like fist, dude. Like, this is like, to me, it took me a while to process, because it, like, kind of like how you said before, like it's new, right? And it's like a lane that you're now taking. And what does the fiance think about it?
I think she's on board. You know, she was always on board with me as a fighter, but she worries like any other, wife would, or another, like a mother figure or anything like that. I think they're going to worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sport's so young right now. I feel as though these fighters haven't really figured out how to break down a guard on a bare knuckle either. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot different.
Yeah. And when you won, like, was it always in the cards to do the proposal? Was that planned from the start?
So that was, again, another thing, like spur of the moment. So
really,
yeah. So sad to say, my girlfriend, my fiance now, her father's not in the picture. Right, he passed away a couple years ago.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, so am I. But her mother came over the house the same day, like maybe like 4 hours before we went into the arena over there to get ready. She wished me luck. And I brought her outside. I acted like I was walking around as I normally would. And I asked her, I said, listen, I'd like to ask you for your daughter's hand in marriage. And I think I'm going to do it tonight. And I literally, I just, I went with it. And the ring that I initially ordered was not ready, because I did it like 3 weeks before. Okay. For whatever reason, my jeweler didn't like put the order in like to rush it or whatever, because I was kind of planning this. And then my partner went to Swarovski Crystal, got me a fake ring for the proposal. So nobody really knows this, but it was a fake ring. It was still a real ring.
But it wasn't the ring.
Wasn't the ring, right? So I winded up, proposing, got that done. It was obviously contingent on the win, so I had to win. I was making sure I won, And so after that was done, a couple weeks later, I wound up taking her to the jeweler to get it sized, because she didn't fit it properly.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, yeah, we'll take it back. When I took it, right, we went to get it sized. He took the ring, measured her finger. He said, come back in an hour. He winded up resizing the brand new ring that I previously ordered. So she came back, opened the box up, and she was like, what is this? You know, it was a big rock, and I've reproposed it
Oh,
right
that's
there
awesome.
on the jeweler, so it was great.
That's neat, man. That was such a crazy moment too, and the way you won was just so decisive. It was a great win, and like I said, we'll get into that. What was the guy's name? Aspen or something? Who was his?
I might forget this guy's name.
I have to look. I have it right here, but so like, to me, like I'm a big like moments guy. I'm looking at your Instagram now. It was Apostle Spencer. Damon, yeah. So it was such a cool moment, and it really did like make it headlines. It took headlines for the whole entire event, arguably.
Yeah. He was a great sport, by the way.
Apostle was?
Wound up being a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke to him in the doctor room after. It's actually like I don't find it that awkward, but it really is an awkward situation because every single fighter, you have to be with each other and the weigh-ins. Prior to the weigh-ins, so you're standing next to each other. You're in like close quarters. Even like their locker rooms are right next to each other.
Yeah.
A lot of the fights I've had, I think I got 18 or 20 fights now all together. And whenever they have us warming up, they always have us like either separated by a screen or you could really see each other warming up. And you're both looking at each other, getting ready to kill each other, and you're hitting the mitts, like acting like that's their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But after the fight, I went back to the doctor's office to get checked out. Check your hands. They do like some cognitive testing. Check if you have a concussion or anything like that. Dilate your pupils. And he was getting stitched up like on the table. And so I wished him luck and a safe journey home and all.
Yeah. And you didn't have many injuries, right? I don't think you got hit much, if anything, right?
No, I didn't get hit at all. I think it was like 18 punches I slipped, dipped on, you know.
I mean, that's the most ideal way to win a fight, especially bare knuckle, right? Your debut.
Of course, yeah. I'm not in this for like, you know, to have brain injuries one day or have any cuts on my face.
Yeah.
The scariest thing for me, you know, obviously you don't want a brain injury for your life, right? The longevity of your career, longevity of a healthy life. We can only do this for so long. But if you take cuts early on in your career in any sport, when you go to actually, you know, compete in a high-level fight like a world belt, what if you get touched in that spot that you have built-up scar tissue? Now it's going to leak even easier.
Yeah.
They might call your fight.
Yeah.
Look at Nate Diaz.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
He's had so many wars that, like, you know, and mind you, like all these guys are, you know, they're getting hit so much in their head, you could tell their speech is you know, just drifting away from them.
Gone, yeah.
But just a mixture. I'm not trying to get hit. I'm trying to hit them and not get hit.
Yeah,
Make it a sport aspect of it.
Yeah. And was combat sports always something that you were drawn to? Is that something you always wanted to pursue?
For sure. Yeah, I was in martial arts since I was about 3-4 years old. Started in karate, and I was always fighting in the schoolyard, like, you know, with my friends, messing around.
Yeah. Fighting
because we had to in a bad neighborhood. Whatever it may be, we were always fighting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And just developed into my career.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the consistency aspect of it, like, cause I said I'm a full-time DJ, and like you know 2 years ago I was playing at dive bars. Now I'm lucky enough to play at other spots, which are great spots. But yeah, it's a consistency thing, right? And I think that in your career, so you started off. So did you do MMA and boxing at the same time? You kind of weaved into one after the other.
So we always did everything, right? We were just, I mean, I did MMA before anything, but we started out in karate when I was a kid, right? Me and my sister. She's 2 years older than me. She used to beat the fuck out of me. I beat the shit out of me.
That's South Philly shit right there, man.
And like when you're a kid, if you're like 7 and your sister's 10, there's a big difference there.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
But when you're like 15 and she's 18, it does, you know, it's not the
evens
same.
out a bit. Yeah,
it evens out, but really, you're really getting a lot stronger than her because your testosterone's going. You're getting like your man strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I got my ass kicked every day by
That's
her.
funny.
So she toughened me up, Maria.
Maria getting bullied by Maria. That's funny. That's awesome.
But she was incredible with the sports. You know.
Yeah.
Even like as we got older, I think I was like 11 when I started jiu-jitsu. And she was putting guys to sleep that were in their 30s. They would never want to tap out, and she had the best technique. She was putting guys to sleep.
Oh, she's a weapon.
She is, yeah. She's only 5'2", too.
Wow. Is she trained?
She don't train anymore. I'm trying to get her back into it, but she had a beautiful family. You know, had a couple kids. She put it on the back burner.
Man.
But she actually just started some gym yesterday. She told me. So hopefully, I would love to see her back on the mats.
Get her in a match. You know, you guys can co-main event. That'd be pretty neat. Huh?
Listen. She could fight. Like when we street fought as kids, I never wanted her fighting, but she found her. You know, we always ended up fighting.
Yeah, it's a.
I remember her move. She used to grab a girl by the back of her head, right? And she would grab her hair and go like this.
That's
and
nuts.
roll it around her fist.
That's insane.
And as it's rolled up now you're like, yes, like you're in control of whoever's grabbing you,
Yeah,
right?
she threw it a minute. Yeah.
So now she's got the girl, and she would have her in a full guard, and she would bring her knees to her elbow, and she would fucking.
She's a weapon. That's a.
Oh my
that's
gosh, she's nasty. She'll make you look like a unicorn.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
spitting blood like that.
That's crazy. Holy
You know?
shit.
And that's my sister.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's so funny because, like, dude, I'm a twin, and my sister's like the complete opposite, like, sweetheart. It's just so cool to see, like, that, you know, they still got it. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. That even do you watch like the UFC like for females? Like, do you watch all like the female side of sports too?
Yeah.
I find that shit to be interesting. They could take hits, bro.
I like Shevchenko a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love Wei Li.
Wei Li, yeah.
Yeah, she's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
too.
I liked Thug Rose when she was still killing it.
Rose.
That was always fun.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
I was actually there when she knocked Wei Li out.
Really?
I was there front row.
Was it a high leg kick or something? It was something.
It was a front. It was actually, I hit the same kick. It wasn't a. So I did a southpaw switch kick when I knocked the dude out.
Yeah.
In like my last MMA fight, but she was like the same side, and she just like chambered it up like, you know, a karate kick right to the head, dude.
Yeah, it was like an instant.
Yeah, it was
knockout.
awesome.
Yeah,
it was like
man.
a snap kick.
Yeah. Where do you think the
Didn't even see it coming.
Are you a big UFC guy in general? Did you watch the Pereira fight this past weekend or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't do enough to decisively win in that fight, to be honest with you. But I also feel as though a lot of these MMA judges and MMA fighters with that Russian Dagestani handcuff style will rub you out on the wall and just get a win like that.
Yeah.
Not to say he had his way with Pereira a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
He had him stumbled the one time. He had him with a good shot. He literally almost knocked him out, and then he got saved by the bell.
Yeah.
But mind you, Pereira hit him twice. He had him with a head kick and a flurry. And almost dropped him. So I felt like it was a little bit more even.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He was just being too patient.
But I feel like when it comes to taking a championship away, I knew when
can't take a belt away.
Can't take a whole belt for something like that. You got to give. I think you give the champ the win and you run it back or something like that. But
and think of this, he controlled him on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. So depending on the judge, whoever's seeing this and like whatever the score really is, I still, as all the fights I have, I don't even know how it's judged. It doesn't make any sense. Because you should get points for takedown defense.
Yeah.
How many takedowns did he stuff? Every single one. He didn't take him down at all.
Yeah.
And then he actually swept him.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, to me, like I said, I was watching it. I was in Nashville. I was out. I had a section, but I had a big screen TV next to me, and I put money on Pereira. But yeah, no, I feel like the UFC is in such a weird place right now. Like I was talking to my buddy Trevor from Forged about it, and it's tough because you don't have like a Conor personality. You don't have like, it's all like these really gritty, tough Dagestani champions and like, and
they have no personality at all.
No, none.
They just like look real serious.
Yeah,
they're like Drago. They just don't talk.
Yeah, they're legitimate weapons, but it's like you got like the personality side of it, and then, but that's what I've been noticing. And it was supposed to be Sugar Sean, but now like Merab beat him decisively.
They're both fun. They both have personality.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you watching the Brady fights coming up too against Leon Edwards. That's gonna be.
Yep. I don't know if I'm gonna be a part of his camp, but I just told Mike Wilcox. I said, listen, if you guys need me at all, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah.
I want to see Philly guys do good. I hope Sean Brady takes it.
Yeah.
Smashes this guy.
Yeah.
And I like Leon Edwards, but I gotta vote for Philly. I gotta vote for my boy Sean Brady.
That's it, man.
Smash him, take the belt.
Yeah.
Or go for the belt. You know what I mean?
I think Brady. This is the chance, the biggest. Like if he wins this, he gets to fight for the belt.
What's he top 5 and he's top 3?
So Brady's 5 and Edwards is, I think he's 3. I think he's 3. He's either 3 or 2. Like he's right before the
it's a big test.
Crazy.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I told my buddy Dan Cannoli trains at Marquez, and I said like I'm just nervous because he's got to cover his chin. Like Edwards may be a little bit out of his prime, but it's like, you know, he's got to cover that chin because he can, like he did the Usman. You know, he took him out and
I know there's different levels of strikers, but Sean Brady did look really good on his last fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like night and day from when he fought Bilal and then he advanced. What was the last guy he fought? What was his
Yeah.
name?
Let me see. He did fight.
He looked really good. He was
Yeah,
out striking the
he
guy.
looked
He was light kicking him. He was striking with him. He just well-rounded everything.
Yeah,
If he fights like that, I think he beats Leon Edwards.
I agree. I'm gonna look and see his last fight when it was. It was against Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, he looked nice against Gilbert Burns.
He did.
Yeah, but man, listen, like your career, like the way when did you find out about bare knuckle, and when did you decide? Because obviously, like bare knuckle is such a completely different. There's like we talked about before, the lack of protection. It's just fully like fisted. When did you decide for yourself, like, listen, man, this is the route that I'm gonna take?
I'd probably say I started watching. I don't know when they made the sport, when David actually created it, but he was partners with my old promoter.
Okay.
When I was with Art of War, so I actually have previous fights with David.
Okay.
And he was developing this for years before it was even legal, and it always sparked an interest. I mean, I was so used to street fighting way before we even did organized sports and fighting. No boxing with gloves. We always just did bare knuckle. And we were doing bare knuckle MMA.
Yeah.
And like I remember when I was a kid, we used to do fights in my basement. We used to literally get extension cords, tie up the poles that would hold up the house, make a ring, and we would fight.
That's awesome.
With either like very small gloves or no gloves at all. But so David was developing this for a while, and I remember right after my last fight at Live Casino, I forget the date, he was bringing a big card back to Philly, and it was known to be in Wells Fargo. And once they secured that in, and then McGregor started getting involved and started really promoting it, I remember I went to Chickies and Pete's to meet McGregor. He was doing like a forged out thing, and it was a great time.
Yeah, I was there. It was nuts.
I was in the back room with him,
Yeah.
with the Tattoo Tea guys and the forged out guys, and we had a great time. And I told him then, I think I just made my mind up. I said, listen, I'm going to fight for you and David on the card, because from my understanding, he was a part of the company at the time. And I just made the decision. David actually reached out to me, and I was looking to reach out to him, and we just came together and said, it's a great opportunity. And I actually seen it as one and done, in the beginning, because I really see myself pursuing UFC and MMA, and I didn't want to like stray away from that.
Yeah.
But after that first, successful win in Wells Fargo, we had more attendance than any other combat sports event in PA history.
Yeah.
So for that's amazing. And then just the reaction of the crowd, the fans, seemed to like very, very much gravitate towards me. It was a great opportunity for me, and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, you got the itch now.
Now I'm just changing a couple things, like how we're training.
Yeah.
How to break down an opponent differently.
Yeah.
But I love it. I really love it. So that's basically how it came about.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the 2300. What's the date of your fight?
What the hell is it? March 21st.
21st, right?
Yeah,
Next
21st is
coming
Friday.
up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Next
man.
week.
Yeah. So let me get a bit of like your perspective and on that as you're walking out, like, and you're seeing all these fans, like, and they're Philly fans, so they're rooting for you, and obviously you had the Cannoli incident and all that stuff. Like, you had a really great build up.
For sure.
Like, what's going through your mind to keep yourself balanced going into that fight?
I kind of just I don't know. I zone out. Like,
Yeah.
And I mean zone out like you're not in there. Like
You're just dialed in.
yeah, you're dialed in. And I can't really explain it too much after that, but when you're dialed in and you visualize way before the fight, like weeks in advance. Every time I go to sleep, I visualize getting my hands on this opponent, how I'm going to do it. Every single weapon he has, I see it in advance. You know what I mean? I know he's going to throw an overhand right, so my hand's already going to be here, and then I know I'm going to counter him down the middle, or whatever it may
Right.
be. Like you know these things because every fighter, even myself, has these habits. I don't even know what they are because I would fix them if I did.
Yeah.
But when I watch other people, I tend to pick up on little things like that, little tendencies.
And that's every fight, right? Before you study any fighter, you find habits and tendencies that they, yeah.
And I think it's a really big skill to grow with and to focus on, to stay focused when you're in the walkout and before you start the fight. That is the most crucial, most important time that you need to zone people out. You need to block everybody out like white noise. I think it's like this in every sport, but it's way, way more. I played football. I played hockey. It's a lot different in fighting. One mistake that's it.
Yeah.
You know, you need to remember your game plan. You need to not pay attention to anybody but your team and just zone in and know what you're going to do.
Yeah, yeah. And what goes into like, is there anything you do you practice like in regards to mindset? I love talking to fighters and people who fight in combat sports. Like I played basketball my whole life, but like I'm not in a fight, right? It's a whole different game. So I'm so curious as to what goes into your like mentality, like for preparation and like what you do to like keep yourself in that mental state of I'm gonna be in the ring with this guy and we're gonna be going after each other. Like what do you do on a mindset standpoint? Because I know that fights can be lost before the fight, right?
For sure.
What do you do to keep yourself focused and how do you stay focused?
I tell this to a couple people before, but when I'm training, right, I have a mentality before I get into a sparring match, before I get into a mitt session to treat it like an opponent, before I hit a bag, I have this mentality in my head to say, okay, if it doesn't drop me, it's not going to stop me. Like more like a controlled chaos. Like as soon as I get touched, I'm going to answer back, right? If I get touched one time, I'm going to hit him 3 times, just as hard, you know? And obviously the goal here is not to get hit at all, to hit and not get hit. But there's a big chance you're going to take a shot, you know? So when that day comes, I'm totally prepared.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to stop. I'm like a choo-choo train.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And they tell you that. And is this true that like when you're in a fight, like you don't really feel it in the moment?
You feel everything. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. But I feel like when you're focused, you push right through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I've been doing cold plunges, right? I did it 3 days in a row so far. And I dropped 10 degrees every single time.
Really?
Okay. So it means I'm progressively getting stronger and better at it.
Right.
Mentally. And I remember the first day I did a minute and a half. Then it was another minute and a half, did a minute and a half again. But again, I'm dropping.
Yeah.
You know, so it's way harder.
Yeah.
But when you know it ahead of time what you're going to feel like, the third time, last night, it was hard as shit to get in there. Right? And it was windy on my roof and everything else. But when I got in, I just zoned out way better. I got my breathing under control.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get it. And I feel like even that as a test or as a practice point to prepare me for the fight, like being in cold water by myself, like why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know,
it's like,
I know why I'm doing it, but
but it's like, and it's little mini versions of like mental warfare.
Mental warfare,
you know?
Exactly. Like you're going to be in a ring alone with another man. You have thousands of people watching, millions of people watching on TV. Doesn't really matter. It's just you and him. You have to end this guy. Yeah. You know, and if you quit, you're going to quit on yourself and everybody. So
yeah. We talked a lot about fighting in the prep, but like I'm curious as to like why you fight. Like why does Johnny Garbarino? Why do you fight?
I don't something in me, man. I've been fighting since I was a kid. When I was in school, I got kicked out of 12 different schools.
Oh shit. Okay.
12.
Okay.
Like, no exaggeration. And you know, I think that I didn't have it like rough like a lot of other kids from like the inner city had. Maybe like you know, their mom was a crackhead and their dad wasn't there for them. Like I had my parents, I had a great family, but I did have it rough in a lot of different ways mentally, for a lot of different reasons. Right, it's a long story, but I felt like training was my only way to like escape that. You know, even when I just worked out normally, or when I played hockey, or whatever it was, or when I went and cooked. Right, I use these things as a tool to kind of like escape my life for a second. And just kind of zone out and use it as a tool to like maybe relieve stress or something like that. And so I don't know, something in me. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I haven't gotten over a couple losses in my life, like when my grandfather died. You know, so every day I wake up, I think about him, and I give 100% to that day. You know what I mean? Little things like that. I know like the whole story about how my grandparents got here. My grandfather came from Italy, fought in World War II, lost both of his arms, right, fighting for not only me and my family, but all of America and every Italian American now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for people like that came before me, I feel like for whatever reason, I feel like I have to fight and prove myself and fight for my position in life. I want to make a name for myself. I have something to prove. But I'd be lying if it said it wasn't definitely personal, because it is. I every time I go into training, it's like I'm relieving stress, and it just feels like I'm just like escaping something. You know, I could zone out on a bag for 3 hours, 4 hours. It's not even good. I used to do it so much, so it would be overtraining, and you kill your body.
Hurt your body, yeah.
I've literally put myself in the hospital from rhabdo before. I put myself in the hospital from dehydration multiple times, and I didn't even realize it. I was 17 years old just working out because I love it. Yeah, you know, I just love training. And, so definitely because I love training, and I don't whatever you want to call it, I have this fight thing in me, and I think I'm always going to want to do it. Yeah, the day I stop fighting is it's going to be a sad day for me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Whether it's 10, 15 years from now, 5 years, whatever it is. But
yeah, the one thing, I was on a podcast recently, and she asked me like why I DJ and stuff, and like I went like kind of similar to you. Like I lost my grandma when I was 16, and like went through like a bad breakup. Like obviously I'm so young, but
listen, still, you use that as fuel. You use the bad breakup. I've been there too. You know how many miles I ran when I broke up with my ex? Yeah, I just over and over and over. Yeah, you start to think that something's wrong with you, but realistically, when these things happen, you get stronger mentally. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. You're like, oh no, now I'm grateful that it happened. Yeah, it built character, it built me a stronger mentality. Yeah, and I wouldn't be where I'm at in life. I wouldn't have my fiance. I wouldn't have my beautiful house. You know, I wouldn't be in the position.
You wouldn't be a part of selling out Wells Fargo.
I wouldn't be. You know, because these things drove me to that crazy, like almost like borderline crazy. Mentality. Like you're going to keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to be obsessed with it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, seriously. And that's like when I started like the DJing. Like I'm full time. I went full time DJing 3 years ago. So like I got like kind of like what you were kind of saying is like I have like this like really bad chip on my shoulder, and like I just feel like that I have more of a desire, or excuse me, I have more of a fear of failure than a desire to succeed. And I don't know if that's like a cope mechanism or what, but like I just feel like you want to be somebody so bad, and you just feel like you have something to prove, but you can't really say who or what. You just kind of feel like you just want to like, cement something that's greater than you, and like, and that comes with a lot of mental battles, and like, and that's kind of a little bit of what you were saying as well. Like I try to tell myself like I went on vacation to kind of get away from everything, and the last day I was in my room, and like I got down and I prayed like in my room, and I'm like, well, I'm thankful that I'm able to do this and be here and be able to take time, but like also like what am I here for? Like what am I supposed to be doing on this earth? And like I also try to tell myself like that if you are going through like a depression or something bad, it's like it's a state of mind. It's not like it will pass. And like kind of like
you don't think it will in the moment, but it does.
Yeah. And I try to take myself out of my own body and be like, listen, like I know that in 6 months from now, I might not feel how I do right now, but I need to at least take it in right now and say, listen, like I don't want to ever come back to this place in regards to like mental. And in your life, obviously leading up to this moment, like you had a real high point in your career, right? With obviously you're just getting started, but is there anything that you can pinpoint in your life that really cemented that shift for you mentally to be like, listen, like I'm gonna get here eventually, but like I know right now I'm not. But like, what did you kind of like? Is there a specific time you can pinpoint where you're like, I feel horrible right now, I'm going through something really bad in my life, but I know I'm gonna get out of it?
Yeah. Well, so I guess that's a loaded question. So when I'm always going through something. Everybody is. Yeah. Right? We all have our mental battles. Someone's always going to be sick in your life. You're always going to lose people. You might get fired from your favorite job. You might lose a pet. Something's always going to happen. Your fucking car might break down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You might get in an accident, whatever it is. So you don't know what life's going to throw your way. That's the beautiful part about it, because without the bad, you don't have the good. Yeah. As far as like, knowing I'm going to be either out of like a bad mental space or knowing where I'm going to be in my career, I remember training when I was like not that good, but I was just doing it for the love of the sport because I had a lot of energy. And when I say not that good, I always had talent. I was always good, right? But there was guys that were better. Yeah. So if I'm looking at every other person, I'm like, oh, I'm the smallest guy in the room right now. That's okay, right? Times are changing now. But 10 years ago, I was surrounded by the killers, you know, UFC guys in the UFC now, guys that were, you know, at the time, like the best in amateurs, you know what I mean? Throw Joe Pfeiffer, Cody Russell, Basil Hafez, Ricardo Miglaris, Anton Berzin, Tim Williams. Trouble's a great fighter. We were all training together as young bucks, you know, like over 10 years ago. And I started to notice after, like, I don't know, halfway through this whole journey, even like, you know, I even say like 6 years later, I finally started to catch a stride against other opponents, you know? And like, for instance, if me and you go, right, and I drop you right now with a body shot, right? But like 3 years later, you start to take away the body shot, and literally it does take that long. I don't care what anybody says. If you're with the highest caliber guys and you start fighting back and they start to feel that resistance, you're going to notice.
Yeah.
You know, and then you start to fight and you start to beat people, catch momentum, gain confidence with fighting.
Yeah.
And I always told myself that it's not my time now, but that's okay. I'm going to be there. And right now is the not even close to the pinnacle of my career. I'm in the very, very beginning stage.
You can taste it though.
I could taste the blood. It's in the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just getting here now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. That's a great place to be. Because it's not, a lot of people think like you. They think that they want the instant gratification, but
No.
the second you start putting yourself in rooms with people that are better than you, and you tell yourself like, you know, I'm not here now, but like give it some time, and you'll see. You know, they'll see.
You can't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
There was plenty of days I got my fucking, you know, my nose busted up, my mouth's leaking blood. You get hit so hard in your ear, you can't even like stand or walk right. You know, your ears popped, bleeding even because you get hit in the, you know, in the ear with a shot. Yeah. I got my eye stitched. I got, you know, things broken, broke my thumbs, broke my wrist, broke my foot. Listen, you put in the work, it's going to pay off. If you don't want to go the distance with this and give it everything, then you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, people always see you when you get your hand raised, but they don't see all the dark times.
They don't see any of it. Yeah.
And it's all lonely.
And they don't support you in it. And it's not their fault. It's just
they just don't know. They don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
even a weight cut. Think about a weight cut. Guys are doing it all the time, but they don't see that part.
Yeah.
You know, from right now, I'll be 20-something pounds lighter from Thursday next week.
On the 21st.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the Eagles. Obviously, you're an Eagles fan, right? South Philly, right? I love what Jalen Hurts said, where he said, "I had a purpose before you had an opinion," and that really stuck with me because of like the whole meaning behind it. It's like, because you're in the gym, right, training your 3 hours or you know, working hard. It's like people they don't see any of that, and then but all of a sudden, like, it leads to moments like this where, like, before the bare knuckle, because like I wasn't really educated on the South Philly, the Philly scene as much. Like, obviously I know like some of the Marquez guys, I trained there a few times, but someone like yourself just coming out, and people like myself or other media like the Inquirer, and always people who like, they're like, oh my God, you came out of nowhere. It's like, no, I didn't. It's like, I've been
working the whole time, bro.
doing this shit forever. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to have you on too, because like obviously like you had a few moments that were cool, but like even watching your fight and like learning more about you, like the South Philly side, and we kind of get into that in a second. Like a lot of people I see, because I grew up in Northeast Philly, so like kind of like right down other way down, and you see a lot of people give up on themselves and you know, quit before they even realize what their potential is. And someone like yourself who kept going and now you're here, right? You had like 19 fights or something you said before, right? And now you're here and now you're catching stride. It's like, I love to connect with people like that. And when in regards to South Philly, so like when you came home after the fight and all of that, like what was the perception, like the reception? What were the people saying? What was your family saying? Like, you know, I'm curious as to, you know, kind of, you know, bearing the fruit of your labor, you know. So what was the reaction like when you came home?
All the same from my family. It was like another day. You know, they gave me praise, but in my household, it's like, okay, you know, if I'm speaking at it like third person, be my dad talking to me, okay, son, right back in the gym. Like, enjoy this. That was a great time. Unbelievable, son. Like, I can't believe you're my son doing this. You know, this is great. Yeah. You make our family so happy. We got Garbarino everywhere in the Wells Fargo. That was the best. You know?
Your family was there, right? Obviously, they were in there.
It was unbelievable, and I felt like I gave my family a gift when I did that proposal in front of them. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, usually proposals are intimate, right? You can't, but it was still intimate. But you kind of gave your people that moment, which is neat.
Oh, it was awesome. I got to share with 20,000
So
people.
sick.
And then pay-per-view.
After a win.
Yeah, and now it's got 10 million views on YouTube and TikTok and all that shit. But, you know, just special, you know what I mean? What I did notice about just being out, to be honest, I went to Jersey. I went to a store in Cherry Hill. Not that they didn't recognize me before here and there. If they were South Philly people, maybe some South Jersey people. But now you got guys coming up to you in a mall. You know, they don't. I never seen them in my life, but like you're Johnny Cannoli. You know, I seen you online on pay-per-view, and then you know I'm literally driving on the highway on 55 or 42. Like it happens almost every day.
Yeah.
And they're literally beeping, and I'm thinking like I'm ready to fight with these people.
Yeah, like don't cut me off.
Yeah, like who the fuck, you know? Because we grew up like, you know, people are nuts. They pull up, they'll shoot you at the stoplight.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm like always like handing my gun, and these people are. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, roll your window down, and then they wind up having a kid in the back with a tinted window, and they're like, hi, you know, they're recognizing who I am. So it's definitely. I mean, it feels great, you know, just to be recognized and. I think I put up a post like last week, and I said, I remember in the early amateur days of my career, I would go around to corner stores, poppy stores, even in neighborhoods that I you know, we didn't grow up in, and I would ask these random Mexican people or these Spanish poppy stores, can you please put my poster up? And like they're looking at me like, who is this guy? Some of them are really supportive. You know, but some of them are like, no, I'm not putting your shit up at all. And now I get to drive down the highway or drive past the casino, drive on the bridge, and you're seeing billboards of me, you know, representing not only Bare Knuckle, but South Philadelphia, my gym, all the sponsors and people who appreciated me from day one and supported me. Yeah. It definitely means a lot, you know, like just to it's awesome.
It's got to bring you back though, right? Like when you were an amateur, I feel like
it don't seem like it's that far ago.
No, yeah. And I feel like that's the most beautiful part of someone like yourself who works hard and does be able to reap some of the benefits. I feel like it just naturally brings you back. Like I had on episode 100, I had Brian Dawkins on, and we filmed it at Xfinity.
That's cool.
And dude, like it was such a crazy moment.
Good dude.
Oh, he speaks to your soul, bro. Like it's so what he basically told me that I took from it is that he always brings himself, even when he's doing his Hall of Fame speech, he always brings himself back to when he was 16 years old, when he was that angry kid at the world, and I really took something from that because I ultimately believe that that's what leads you to more success is just constantly taking yourself back to when, you know, you were at that position. Like last Eagle season, I was DJing at a dive bar in my neighborhood, right? And I would set up all my own equipment and all that stuff because I wanted to create that vibe for my friends and people who wanted to come out. And then this year, I was doing Barstool and, you know, doing these big watch parties and Cooper DeJean came and the owner's son came and the only thing that people are like, how is that? I'm like, it's humbling. Like these finding success in what you're doing because you believed in yourself is so humbling, man. Like, and I find like there's so much beauty in that. And that's kind of like the same thing that Dawkins would say too. And he's just like, dude, like anytime something good or bad happens, you bring yourself back to when you're 16. And so when you're in those moments and now, you know, Johnny Cannoli's, you know, finding some success, like, do you bring yourself back to a certain point when you first started? Like, I'm curious as to what your mentality is on your version of success.
Okay, success I'd say is like just in general. It's whatever you want to accomplish in general. So I definitely feel like I'm successful, whether it be money. Like I remember I was broke. Me and my girl, we had welfare checks, you know, and now I could, you know, pay all my bills. I'm living more lavishly. I'm buying jewelry. You know, I got a brand new, you know, 2025 Bronco,
Congrats.
Bronco Raptor. Like, you know, thank you.
My dad got a Bronco too. They're nice.
Incredible.
They're nice.
Incredible. So I remember I was the first one with the Raptor, like the Bronco Raptor. Yeah. I didn't even know what that was. I'm driving down the highway. It feels good. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's success, you know, but success to me is having a relationship with God, having a relationship with your family, having your health. Like those are the important things. Yeah. You know, that to me is like the most important. And I'll be honest with you, I reflect a lot when I pray on my day or my week or my month, even 6 months ago. But times like this, that I could sit down with you and reflect on when I was a 15-year-old kid, I don't get to do that often. So one, thank you for that. But it kind of brings me back and makes it more special, because now when I go to my training session, I'm going to think about all this shit today, and I'm going to have a killer training session.
It's going to keep that, yeah.
You know, like it brings you back and it humbles you, and it's a reminder of like what you've been through, why you're doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
man.
have something to prove, or the anger issues, or whatever you're going through. This is I got too many to even to name out. Yeah. But I'm thinking back on everything I had to go through. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
You know.
Yeah, dude, and like it's so weird, because I never used to think like that, and like I feel like your journey and shit changes you. And I remember like in 2020 when COVID hit, I lost all my DJ gigs. I had nothing, and I lived down the shore, living off of a few $1,000s, and like because I just really had nothing else to do. And I started the podcast that fall in November of 2020, and I just find that like the things that happen in your life are interesting, and I think over the past like 5 years I've really begun to appreciate my love for family as well, and
1,000%.
And I'm curious as to what your family dynamics like, and as to what family means to you, just in regards to like moments like you walking out in Wells Fargo for your bare knuckle fight and stuff like that. I'm curious as to what a family is like, and especially the South Philly culture. Got a few South Philly questions for you. But in regards to family, like what is the importance of that, and then how do you carry that into your day to day?
So when I was a kid, I already told you I kicked out all those schools, 12 schools, right? My mom, my dad, they would either bail me out of jail for whatever, and then, they would come to I think it was called IEP meetings or whatever. Like I needed special attention in school to focus. I had an aide or a regular, like a tutor always with me, basically to like watch me, make sure I'm focusing and not acting up. But between fighting in school and getting kicked out, and then now selling out the arena, it's like I regretted everything at the time, and I still wish it didn't happen in ways that I put my parents through. But I feel like now what I'm doing with the fighting, the organized way about it, I'm making my family proud. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's incredible how in fighting in one, in one atmosphere isn't correct, and like I could say this about a lot of different things, but I think I wasn't ever in the right atmosphere. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the right setting. But now that I am, I got, teachers that were my teacher at the time.
That hated you.
Not hate him. They always knew I was a good kid, a good person, but like I probably drove them nuts, asking too many questions or literally fighting in the middle of class or the hallway. Now they're trying to get tickets to come support me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just crazy how everything is coming full circle right now. Yeah. It's pretty wild. You know what I mean?
And let me ask you this too, while we're kind of on this subject. What are you most grateful for?
My life. My life, my health, my family. Yeah. Fuck everything else, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can make money, you could lose money, it don't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have all the money in the world. If you don't have a family to share it with, what's the good of money?
Yeah. I found a quote when I was on TikTok. TikTok hits your algorithm like crazy sometimes. And it said, life is better spent, not saved. And I put it on my story, and I was like, life is better spent, not saved. And like, if you really break it down, Connor actually liked the story. And I was like, oh, he gets it too. Like, but it's one of those things where like, it's kind of like spending it and being a part of like, the family, the health, the things that really matter, and like, and really just putting your all into it. But I have some South Philly questions for you that I kind of got educated on. I got invited to a Sunday dinner last Sunday. And
great.
So is Sunday dinner always a thing? Is a thing? Yeah. Okay.
It's when the family comes together and they spend, the whole entire day together. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're actually more sparse with my family anymore, because my grandparents died, and like we kind of all do our own thing. But when we do have a family dinner on a Sunday, like twice a month or once a month anymore, it's special. And I'm talking the whole family's involved. Yeah. It was a lot easier when I lived at home with my sister. It was like we never skipped a beat. The whole entire family, the whole neighborhood was all together.
That's awesome.
That's special. That's like part of our culture.
That's awesome. What I mean? That's awesome. Yeah, my mom wants to do more of that, and I'm like, I agree.
Think about how many Sundays you might have with your mother right now. Because like you were saying, like what was the quote you said?
I said life is better spent, not saved. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, right? I look at life like you're renting time, because time is the most important thing. You know?
Yeah.
It's how you spend your time and who you spend it with that's really important.
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes more prevalent now. The older I get, you know, the more I just kind of realize how important those things are. Like I've recently been able to build a relationship with my sister, which is really cool. Like, because obviously there's like that period where obviously you grow up together, and then, you know, first 20 years of your life are pretty much scripted for you, right? The grade schools, all 13 or 12 that you went to, but like the grade school, the high school, some college, you know, it's like your life's kind of naturally put together. And then, you know, in your 20s, once you graduate college or whatever, it's like you become in the real world. It's like, you know, you find yourself, you're chasing something, right? Everyone's chasing something, but you kind of forget a little bit to kind of keep those relationships, because like, you know, you grew up with them. But now I'm starting to build my relationship back with my family, which is really good.
Yeah, you got to feed it.
Yeah.
Relationship with God, relationship with a girl, relationship with your mom and dad. You got to feed it.
Yeah, and that's what everything. Yeah.
The other day I made reservations for me, my buddy, his wife, and then my fiance. We wanted to go out to like a Chinese restaurant. I love this place called Mustard Greens. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
It is the hidden gem. I hope this don't mess anything up, because right now it's perfect. It's like it's so underrated. It's the best, most cleanest spot in the city. So that being said, I'm excited, you know, because I don't get to eat everything I want to. One day a week I'll go have a really, really nice dinner and splurge a little bit, you know, because we're on a diet and we're training.
Yeah.
But so I have this plan, and my mom and dad my dad calls me, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I got a reservation at this new restaurant. I don't want to dog the restaurant, but I didn't think it was that good. Winded up going, but like I didn't want to go for a second. I'm like, Dad, you know, why don't you come with us? I don't care if you come with us, but like I don't want to go there. So I was 2 seconds away from saying, you know what, I'm not going to go with my parents, because I already had a date night to go to get the food I wanted.
Right. Yeah.
But meanwhile, like if we're really breaking it down, fuck the food. You go out for who you're spending time with. My dad reached out to me and said, "Yo, son, come on, we want to go to dinner. I don't care where it is. We can be in a shoebox. I would rather go to that and then go to the restaurant another time."
Yeah.
It's not about the food.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how many more Friday nights can I go out on date night with my parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
How many Sunday dinners we get to share as a family.
That's real.
That's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not promised tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah,
know?
yeah. You never are. And my biggest fear in my life is losing my grandparents. I lost two of my dad's grandparents, and that was super hard. But I just know, like that time. Obviously, it's inevitable with everybody. But like, it's just like, yeah, they do. Like, yeah, like I'm trying to think, like, because what you brought up is so real. Like, we had my aunt's father passed on other side, and it was in my grandmom's neighborhood, and I was really going through it. It's probably like 2 weeks ago, something.
Sorry.
Like. Nah, yeah, it's happens. I mean, everyone goes through stuff, right, mentally. But I was there at the funeral, and I was just like in a really bad mental space, regardless. And I saw my grandma walk, and I'm like, I was telling myself she's the last person I need to see, because I'm gonna cry when I hug her. Like, so afterwards, the funeral, like, we went and we got lunch, and then I was like, Grandma, can I just go and sleep on your couch for a little bit? Because I used to go to Grandma's house all the time. So I slept on the couch, and it was like really just like nice, just like, you know, kind of like ground yourself and bring yourself back a little bit. Obviously, because when you have your schedule and all that stuff, but yeah, it's kind of like what you said, like really taking that in. And yeah, so like I said, family's everything. And I want to ask you an Italian question, because like I said, I was put on a little bit last week at the Sunday dinner. What's the difference between sauce and gravy?
Okay, so this is a great question. I argue with a ton of people from this. So technically, by definition, it's the drippings. The gravy would be the drippings of meat, right? I don't care if it's brown gravy, you know, a white gravy, a red gravy, whatever you want to say. It's still a gravy if it has meat, right? So they say in Italian, it's sugo di marinara, you know, marinara sauce. You know, that's just straight garlic, tomatoes, olive oil, salt, whatever, you know, basil gol. That's marinara. Gravy is any addition of protein and the drippings. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
obviously, we put a mirepoix, celery, carrot, onion, or maybe no celery, just a carrot to sweeten up the gravy. I don't like when people do sugar. I like natural. We'll put a carrot, no sugar.
Yeah.
But on that note, I just really believe, because we grew up like this,
Yeah.
it's called gravy because we have meat in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The guy.
It's not pizza sauce or
Yeah.
Sunday sauce. It's gravy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I was like, they were telling me like, yeah, do you want gravy on your meatballs? I'm like, what, I don't. What's the difference? She's like, it's when the meat's at the bottom of the pan. And, and I thought that shit. I thought it was great. I was like, I'm so happy right now. They're feeding me chicken cutlets, wine, everything I could ask for.
That's the best.
Oh, it's so good. But
That is the best.
yeah, nice. So
They
like,
have brajol, neck
the
bones,
brajol, yeah.
sausage.
that's it. Yeah,
Everything, dude.
Missing a little bit of salmon. What's a semolina? But you know what I mean. But this, I want to really quickly. We can wrap up, but I want to get into your fight coming up. So March 21st, 2300 Arena, South Philly. You got your next bare knuckle fight coming up. What are you looking forward to most about it, man? Like, what? I don't know much about the guy you're fighting, but what are you looking forward to? What's the preparation like? And like, are you dialed? Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Yeah.
Yeah. So for the past year, I've been going camp to camp every month and a half.
You've been consistent, man.
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah.
And they're all getting faster with knockouts. I don't expect to get a knockout. I expect to go 5 rounds, and possibly have a war with this guy. I'm ready to do that, but I'm going to do it and approach it the best way possible. And I feel like I could snipe this guy, break him down from the outside, control him from the gate. I was actually practicing a little different up until a week and a half ago because we had the wrong information on this guy. For whatever reason, his age, his reach was different, and his height was different than what I thought. So we just started to recalculate how we're going to throw and how we're going to treat him in the ring.
He has a longer reach than you thought.
Yeah, he does, and that's not a bad thing.
Not an issue,
but it was
yeah.
just a different preparation and mindset, But now that I know who exactly I'm fighting, I seen some film on him. I know exactly how I'm preparing for this guy is the right way, and I just foresee me winning in a spectacular fashion, and just keeping it rolling.
Yeah, man.
That's all I want to do. It's another learning experience for me, another stepping stone.
Yeah.
But that's all.
Yeah, and I guess you're taking it one fight at a time, right?
That's it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And usually, I'm sure you've been asked a million times where you see yourself in 5 years. I'm curious as to where you see yourself in a month.
A month. I'll be in Hawaii.
Yeah,
I'll be in Hawaii.
That's it, man. Vacation.
Yeah.
Well deserved, brother.
Go to Vegas and then Hawaii.
That's it, man. Well, listen, man.
I haven't taken a vacation in a minute.
That's it. Well, yeah, dude. Sometimes you gotta treat yourself. Sometimes, right? You get yourself a Bronco, get yourself a trip to Hawaii, and take care of the.
Listen, I work hard. I work hard.
Yeah.
I put a post up last night. It was 2 a.m. Me and my fiance were in bed. I do insurance adjusting, public adjusting, and so we had an insurance claim. We're doing work in bed, dude. Like people just see the house and they just see this and that. Like I'm fucking exhausted. I got up again 7 a.m. today working. But I don't mind working. I love working.
Yeah.
I like working out. I like working.
Yeah.
It gives me something to go. Like
Keeps you moving,
the competition of fighting too, just being a competitor. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when other companies try to compete and I get the job over them.
Yeah.
You know what I really love? I love, because we work on contingent fees. I love, and I don't like to hurt people either. I don't want to misconstrue this. We'll compete, and a lot of guys from my industry will say like this, okay, I'll do it for half his percent. What do they charge you? 15? I'll do it for 7.5 just to get the job because they're desperate. I'd be like, fuck that. I'll do it for 15 still. And I'm going to do it a better job and look at, this is what I've done and accomplished for other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you let your yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not even going to lower I have a standard for myself.
Yeah.
And me getting my 15% is still going to earn way more for you than he would at his 7.5.
That's a great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a value thing.
Value is everything, brother.
Don't get caught up on the number. You know what I mean? So I tell people.
You're gonna. I say the same thing with DJing. I had someone undercut me for a wedding, and I lost a job because they wanted.
You don't want that job,
right?
Fuck it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And that's why. I told him, and I told him, I was like, listen, that's okay. Like I said, they're like no bad blood. I'm like, to me, it's all good. I was like, you're not gonna get me. Then that's fine.
That's fine.
That's cool. You
get it for cheaper.
Yeah.
What do they say? Like, do it faster for cheaper.
Yeah.
Or better. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Like,
Well, it's same thing. So it's basically what you're basically hinting at is like you're paying me this amount because you're gonna get you're paying for my 10 years of
This
experience
product.
in this one night.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To get it done right.
You can't look at like, okay, what's the product number one I'm going to get, right? In return, what service are you going to provide me?
Yeah.
Right. But then you got to say like, what service are you going to provide me, and then how fast is it going to take, right? Or how slow it's going to take. You're going to get a great product with me in faster time because of the experience I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it translates the same way. Like you giving a great product in a shorter amount of time, and then me giving you a good product and creating a memory, a greater memory. I like to think.
Yeah, but people get caught up on the time aspect. It's like, oh, I'm not going to spend more money for
less time.
For less time. Why? It's the same product. It's a better product. I'm able to do it in faster time. You know what I mean? It doesn't make my value any less. It makes it more. I can give you the same product in less time.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's so when someone tries to do that, because I'm sure that's pretty common in your industry.
It's so cutthroat. It's
What's
disgusting.
your So I know I got a little bit of a glimpse. What is your mentality on that? Someone says, "Oh, but Johnny, like this guy was gonna do it for half the percentage." Like, but it's like, okay, like so then what's your next step? How do you attack that?
I mean, listen, I try to keep it as professional as possible, and I try not to be cutthroat unless people do it to me. I got albums of different companies, okay, on my phone that I just not good business practices. They don't hold professionalism. They're not good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are good people, but the people in my industry, they scare me. I'll be honest with you. They robbed homeowners. They took advantage of people. Too high of percentages. Whatever the case, okay? They'll chop a job up. They'll swear that they're the best contractor. You know what I mean? They'll disappear with the money.
Yeah.
You see that a lot. You know what I mean? So I try not to just dog into that. I try to just sell myself, and then worst case scenario, if I can't get a job over some guy, I'll just be like, oh, look at this. This is me in the Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
Like, I just knocked this dude out.
You pull the cannoli card, yeah.
If they deny your claim, I'm gonna knock them out.
Yeah.
Like some bullshit. You know what I mean? But
for sure.
You know what it is with me? I like to relate to people and just sell myself. I don't really like to lower myself.
That's smart.
To be a competitor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's smart.
They might be dogging me behind closed doors. I don't even go there.
Yeah.
And I've had like guys right across from me that have thousands of properties, and they're saying, "Oh, why should I choose you over him?" Now, listen, I have nothing but great things to say about this guy. If you want to go with him, God bless you.
Yeah.
But I know my value, and they wind up going with me.
Yeah, because you stand 10 toes down, and it's like the people at the top collaborate, the people at the bottom compete. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to make $1 million on a job. I'm trying to build a long-term relationship with you to get future business. In order to do that, I have to do a phenomenal job to begin with for a lower percent.
Yeah.
So really, you're bargaining. You're winning the bargain in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're getting a great value for your money in the very beginning, and then just treat me fair, a fair shake going forward.
Yeah.
Give me what I deserve, and I'll do phenomenal for you.
It's relationship over transaction. A lot of people would make it transactional. That's what doesn't create long business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, and like I said, I love your mentality on value. Like I completely agree with that 110%. But dude, like I really am just so grateful for your time, and I appreciate you coming on. I know you got some training today. You got some, you got your rehab today and all that stuff. And I'm just looking forward to your fight. Looking forward to seeing you win. Are you able to stream it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pay-per-view. Yep.
Pay-per-view. So
the zone.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So where can everybody find you on social media, man?
My handle is Team Garbarino, TEAM, and then Garbarino, my last name, GARBARINO.
Yeah.
That's my handle. I have a TikTok. I think it's Team Garbarino too. I think I got 2 videos I made 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to be more prevalent on there.
Yeah.
But it's actually, I got a good video on TikTok. It's like the Italian way to hit a speed bag, and I'm like, I'm cool though, and I'm really about cool. And it starts backhand. I'll show you later.
That's so good. Yeah, I love that.
So I got TikTok, I got Facebook, Giovanni Gaetano Garbarino on Facebook. And then if you guys need tickets, I'm going to put my dad's number on here, 610-755-8332. You can still grab a couple tickets left right now. We're like a week and a half out. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait to represent South Philly. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your time. And like I said, I know things picked up really quickly. I know I was reaching out to you beforehand, and then the fight happened, and I'm like, I ain't getting this motherfucker on now. But
I try to make time for a lot of people, too.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's a little hard with my business, but I got a great partner.
Yeah.
You know, and he you know,
Yeah.
he'll kind of step up when I have to go do things, I guess.
Yeah.
Cover me for a walkthrough or whatever it is.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, dude, I wish you the most success. I'm excited to see your journey, and I'm excited to see how far you've come already, and I'm glad we're able to have some time and chop it up a bit. So thank you for coming on, brother. Well,
Yeah, my man.
hope you guys enjoy this episode of The Loft. I'm kevnichols. That's Johnny Garbarino, a.k.a. Johnny Cannoli. Peace, guys. Peace. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. That was fun. That was a good time.